Hi friends, welcome back. In today's session we are going to perform CRUD operations with WebAPI. I am going to create one new project here. Here I am selecting ASP.NET Core Web API. This is my project name which I am storing in this location. I am selecting the latest .NET framework here. Click on create. Our project has been created here. Here in this session we are going to use entity framework DB first approach. For that I am adding NuGet packages. Here database we are going to use SQL Server. I am selecting the SQL Server and I am installing latest stable version. It's installed. This is the database which we are going to use it in this session, and I have one table called products here. So we have the columns like ID, product name, price and quantity. ID is the primary key and it is identity field which is auto incremented. Here we no need to insert any value into the ID field. So remaining other fields we have to insert here. So all three fields are not null, so we need to pass the data here. First I am going to create one model here. I'll create one models folder. Inside that I am going to create product class. This is my product class. Here I am going to define our properties. So here we need ID, product name, price and quantities, and we have to match the data types also. These fields are mandatory fields. I'll create another folder for data access. I'll make it as data access layer. Inside this I'm going to create app.db context to communicate with our database. I'll make it as this is my context name, and this will be inherited from db context. Click on db context, go to the quick actions, generate the constructor with options. Here I have to add product table property to communicate with db. This is going to be db set, and I have to call product here, and here we have to add the models. So this is coming from models folder, and this I will make it as products. So this is the products table which we have inside the CRUD with WebAPI database. So we are going to communicate with this database. For that we are going to use the db context. With this we are going to communicate to our server. To communicate with our SQL server we have to add the connection string inside app settings.json. Here I am going to add the connection string. This is the connection string. This is connection string name, and this is my server name, and I have multiple SQL instances. That's why I mentioned my SQL instance name. If you are using single instance, then you don't need to mention this instance name here. So here we have to pass our database name. I can copy it from my SQL Server. Now we have to register this connection string inside our program.cs. For that, I will open the program.cs. Here I am going to register my connection string. For that, I will take it from my previous example. Here we have to register our connection string with database context. This is my database context name, and I have to pass it here, and I have to add the reference here. This is coming from data access layer, and my connection string name I can take it from here. This is my connection string which we are passing here. So we are going to use this SQL Server here to communicate with the database. This my app DB context is the mediator between our application and the database. Here I am going to add one API controller. For that, right click on the controllers, add controller. Here I need API. Here we have to check API. Here we have to select the API. By default, MVC controller will be selected. Here we have to select API, and then we have to select API controller empty. Click on add. Here we have to provide our controller name. This is product controller. I will add it here. To connect with the database, we have to initialize our app DB context here. Select the context, go to the quick actions, generate constructor here. Now we can communicate with our product table. First I will create a get action method to read all products. This is going to be get. Here first I have to read all the products from the database. So it will return the list of products. So before returning the products, we have to check whether we have any products inside this variable. For that, I will write a if condition. If count is 0, then I have to return data not found. And here we can return custom message also, products not available. So this is the custom message I am going to return, and if we have the data inside the products, then we will return OK. And here we have to pass products. So this is the action method to read all the products from the products table. I'll write another action method to get the data based on the ID which is passed by the user. Here I will pass the product ID to read the data. Here I have to check products are available with the ID which is given by the user. For that, I'll check context.products find with the ID if product is null. Here we will get whether null or we will be having the content. Again I will return the not found here, and this time I will pass the custom message like product details not found with ID. Here we can pass the ID which is given by the user. If it is data is available with the ID given by the user, then we have to return OK, and then we have to pass this product, and this is also going to be get action method. And here we can check if there is any unhandled exception. We can handle that also. Go to the snippet, surround with, try catch. I can return as bad request. Here we can pass exception message. Same way here also we will check is there any errors. So I'm going to copy the same catch block. So this action method is going to return all the products from the products table, and this we have to pass input parameter as product ID. Based on the product ID we can filter the data. If product is null, then we are going to return this custom message, otherwise we are going to return the product. Here we will create one action method for post, that is create. Here we will pass our product model to insert the data. This is going to be model, and this will be post action method. Here I am going to straight away add the model to context. Save changes, and finally I'll return OK. Here we can pass the custom message product created. This is the message which I am going to return, and here also I have to check is there any exceptions. For that I'll keep it inside the try catch. I'll copy this catch block. Here I am going to create one action method for put, that is update. Here again we are going to pass the product model to update the data. Here before updating the data we have to validate the model, like if model equal to null or ID is 0, then I am going to validate data. Again I'll check if any one condition is satisfied, then it comes inside this block, and then I'll check if model is null. I'm going to return bad request here. Here we can pass the custom message. Invalid. Else if ID is 0, then again I'm going to return this. So I'll pass this message to the user. If both these conditions are not satisfied, then it comes here. Then here I am going to validate product context dot so id is greater than 0. Then I'm going to check, is there any product available with the id which is passed by the user. If it is null, again I have to return this message here. This time it will be not found, and product not found with id. Here we can pass model.id. Else we have to save the data. For that I'll attach data to product name, which is coming from model. Likewise we have to check the price. It is model.price. Finally we have to save the changes. Return. Okay, that is success message. So this is the custom message which we are going to return. So this block I can keep it inside the try catch. We can take this exception message here. I can use it here. Finally we have to create one more action method for delete. Where product, I'll check the product is available or not first. Find. So here we have to pass id which is given by the user. If product is null, then I have to return the not found. So this is the custom message which we are going to return. If product is not null, then we are going to delete the record. Remove. I have to pass the product here, and I have to save the changes. Finally return the message as OK. This is the status which we are going to pass it to the user. This time I will make it as deleted. So we'll keep this inside try catch block. So if there is any exception, we are going to display that exception message here. We'll build the application once. So there is no error, build succeeded. To test our web API, we are going to use this Swagger which is available inside the .NET Core application. Run the application. Here we are facing one error related to Swagger. We'll see how to fix this error first. Here we have one action method called get to read all the products from the database, and also we have another action method with the same name get, and here we are passing the ID. So there is a conflict between these two action methods, so we have to fix this. To fix this, here we have to pass the ID. I'll make it as ID. It's a simple solution to fix the Swagger issue. Now run the application. So now we are not receiving that error. This is the simplest way to fix the issue. So we will try to get the data whether it's working fine or not. Click on try it out. We will execute here. Currently we don't have any records inside the products table. So we are getting response like products not available. We'll try to create one product now. Go to the post, click on try it out. Here we have to pass all the parameters. ID is not required since ID is identity field, we no need to pass that. Here I will pass. So mobile is my product name. Here I am going to pass quantity. Click on execute. So I am getting status code 200 and product created. Again we will go back, execute this get action method. Click on execute. Here there is a conflict between data type. Execute. Record is inserted here. We'll check this. Data type is float, and here we have to check again our data type is float. So I'll make it as double and we'll see. We'll run it again. Here we are able to read the data from the DB. So now we will try to update the product. Go to the put and try it out. Here I have to pass product ID also. Product ID is 1 in our case. We'll make it as 1 and pass from mobile. I am changing it to laptop. I'll execute here. Product details updated and we got the status code 200. We will check the database here. So currently we have mobile. Now we modified as laptop. So it's updated perfectly. We will try to get the data based on the ID. Go to the try it out. Here we have to pause ID. Product ID is 1. Click on execute. So we are able to read the data here. Here instead of giving 1, I am giving some product ID which is not available inside the DB. Click on execute. We will receive the message like product details not found with ID 789. So this validation also working fine. And now I'll try to delete the product. Go to the delete. Here we have to pass the product ID. I'm passing as 1. Execute. Product details deleted. If you check from get action method, currently we don't have any products. We can check inside the DB also. So there is no data. We will try to add few products here. ID is not required while creating new product. Execute. product created. I'll reset it and I'll create one more. Execute. Product created. We will try to read all the data. Execute here. So we are able to read all the products here. That's it for today. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.